Marketer of the Day, number 493. Build an online business through content, marketplaces, feedback, and customer education with Bernie Thompson. Hey everyone, we're so glad that you made your way back to us. You're listening right now to the Marketer of the Day podcast, and we're talking with Bernie Thompson. And Bernie has founded 5 companies, including the global electronics brand Pluggable, and he's also the founder of Efficient Era, which is a company that helps other companies sell on Amazon. Now, he's an engineer and an inventor with 4 patents, and he considers marketing his greatest weakness. So we're going to hear all kinds of interesting stories and lessons. So, Bernie, glad to be talking to you.
Yeah, glad to be talking to you. What am I doing on your show since I'm no good at marketing?
I don't know. I mean, you tell me, right? I guess, at least you market in some way, but you could be better, I guess, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So there's both counter marketing and just then a lot of stuff that we could do better. But yeah, we can talk about all that.
Well, yeah, and even despite your marketing weakness, as you say, even despite that, you still found all this success, right?
Yeah, and so and I think one of the things about being not being a professional marketer is we've done it in a lot of non-traditional ways, and so those are somewhat interesting to talk about.
Well, great. Well, where do you feel like starting? Do you feel like starting as far as like your origin story or what you have going now? Like, I'm open to anything.
Yeah, just a little bit of background on us. So, I'm a software engineer by background. I've worked at a bunch of big companies, IBM, Microsoft, actually in operating system development, which is, kind of the lowest level kind of tech stuff. But I've also built a few companies. And so Pluggable, which is, like you said, a global electronics brand. We have 120 products right now. We sell them in North America, Europe, Japan. It kind of is a culmination of a lot of that. And one of the interesting things is we did not have a marketing specialist, a full-time marketing specialist working on the company at all for the first 7 years of its existence. We really did marketing in a different way with content marketing and trying to reach a somewhat narrower but more interested audience in more direct ways through YouTube and through content. So we really, if you were to summarize it, we really had a content marketing strategy.
Okay, great. And I think that a lot of people can relate to that, right? Like a lot of people out there are just doing it by themselves or they have a little bit of a team, but they don't have like this huge budget, they don't have this huge team. They're just figuring out as they go along and they make it work without having everything so-called official, I think.
Yeah, that's right. And I think that a lot of us are forced anymore, certainly for selling physical products, but even for other things, to work through marketplaces and lists. If you're selling a product right now in the United States, you've got to be on Amazon, and that's a big part of what we do. But even if you're selling a service or something like that, there's a lot of kind of service lists that you want to be on and review sites. And the good thing about that, though, is that they do allow you to somewhat just kind of focus on your business, focus on your product, focus on your service, and they'll do a bit of that kind of basic marketing for you if you're doing your job well. But of course, you can really accelerate that with some good marketing strategies layered on top of that.
Yeah, have the best of both worlds. It sounds like like a lot of people are maybe missing out on just being listed in whatever that high traffic marketplace is, whether it's YouTube or Amazon or something. Like a lot of people just miss out on even being there and being there consistently. And so when you said that you for the first 7 years, you and your team did a lot of content marketing on YouTube, can you kind of explain what you did? Because I know that I looked at Pluggable for about like 30 seconds this morning, and it looked like it's somewhat of like a USB hub, a docking station. So can you explain kind of like what that is and what kind of fun things you did as far as YouTube videos?
Yeah, so YouTube's been our best marketing channel. We have about 10,000 YouTube subscribers at this point. They're all organic. That 10,000 has grown real slowly over the life of the company, and several million video views. And one of the things when you have some products are relatively simple, but you might want to kind of see them in context. Our products tend to be kind of complicated. They're interesting. They enable you to do some exciting exciting things that aren't obvious. So kind of showing that in video form, saying, oh, okay, I can connect a docking station with that USB port that I used to only think that USB port was for mice. That's pretty much all I used it for. And here, I can connect a docking station and get a bunch of extra monitors and connect up my hard drives and kind of have a really nice, clean desk setup with this amazing set of functionality. And it's all connecting in through this single USB port. Well, that's something people have to see to believe, right? And they want to see, what works with what and how exactly do I do that? And so, with our type of USB products, which are basically the kind of more interesting high function docking station adapter type USB products, we really need to show our potential customers what we can do. And then once they see it, they go, wow, that's great. I didn't realize I could do that. I want that.
Super cool. And what I like about that is that you're focusing on specific solutions, whereas maybe other companies might be tempted to put out the laundry list of all the various features. And with me, if I'm thinking about, okay, if there's this piece of technology and maybe me personally, I'll only have one or two uses for that, or there's something specific I want to know that if it does. But then if you go and list 30 things, like, isn't it nice that we let you do this and this and this? I'm like, well, I'm just hunting around for the one or two things that I needed. So by having those short videos that just show the uses, that seems a lot more valuable for people if they're looking for that solution.
Yeah, you're so right. And it's surprising how hard it is. Coming as a technologist, it's so easy for me to tick off the features. And it's actually really hard for me to translate that into specific audiences and the specific benefits that those audiences want. Because I've got to go out and do, what I'm not good at, which is some, solid marketing, right? And do my customer analysis and try to break things down in ways that make sense and try to articulate benefits that I might not even care about or see. So it's surprisingly hard to do it well.
So was that difficult for you to make that leap, make that transition a little bit from focusing on the features to focusing on the benefits? Did you like suddenly like realize it, or did it take all those 7 years, or like how did you sort of make that transition?
Yeah, no, I think I've been aware of that as a challenge all along, and we're still struggling with it. I mean, we actually almost talk about it every day. How can we better, break this down into audiences and benefits, rather than, products and features, and especially as we, head into then beyond the video into now marketing the video or, or doing any sort of keyword advertising to our products. We can be way more effective if we've actually nailed that breakdown. We have correctly identified an audience that has a similar worldview about something, or call it a similar problem. And then, we correctly articulate how that audience would think about how to describe that problem and the benefit they're looking for, therefore the words they're searching on, and, I think that we have gotten better at it over the years, but I still feel like we're really bad at it. It's surprisingly hard, and I think it's so hard that you almost can't do it without having basically a strategy where you try to do it, and then you look at the data and you refine, and you just keep refining your audiences and your messages.
And that makes perfect sense. That number one, if your video is a dud, so to speak, where maybe you are excited about it, but if it doesn't use that language that makes people resonate, or if it doesn't talk about something people are excited about, then you can throw all the paid traffic or all the extra stuff at it, and it's still not gonna be very good. And so there's that aspect of it, but then also there's the aspect of it where there's like the feedback loop, right? Where like you put out a video and kind of based on your research, do your best stab at it, and then look at the data and see, okay, is that on the right track, or is that not? And so I'm curious about, so you've been putting out these videos on YouTube, and do you do any sort of, like, how do you basically get the traffic to those YouTube videos? Do you do anything besides just posting it and sharing on social media?
Yeah, our strategy so far has been the kind of post it, look for an organic response, and then double down where we see traction. So, and doubling down means spending ad dollars. So we'll basically, the root of that is we don't know which of the videos are going to catch fire. We'll post a video and we think, oh, that's so informative or that's so clever, and it just is a dud, and no one reacts to it, and then we try to push traffic to it, and there's no reaction, and then there'll be another video where we just think it's one of our normal ones. Oh, that's okay. And, something about it really kind of catches people's attention, and they want to share it. And so, what we have been tending to do in recent years is we have enough of an audience where we get a good sampling of viewership just simply by posting it. And so, we'll see what the reaction is of that set. They're probably our fans, call them our fans. We'll see how our fans react. And then, if our fans like it, then we'll start spending ad dollars on it.
That's a really great strategy, and that's reassuring because sometimes I'll make posts on a fan page or things like that, and I'll feel bad that I'm not at least throwing some ad money into every single post. But your way makes a lot more sense, where you put it out there and then you wait and see if organically it gets a lot of traction. Because if it got a lot of traction just from that, then adding or pouring some gasoline on the fire will really help there. So that makes
Yeah.
a lot of sense. And then also the aspect of going to looking at like you're making me think about the times I've looked back at my stats, like when article marketing was a thing, and I'd look at what gets the most clicks, or even with the YouTube stuff, if I'd sort by the highest or the most viewed videos on my channel, or if I looked by what had the most watch time that month, I was always surprised. It's always the really basic, simple stuff that I thought, this is too simple, and I would kind of just make it just because I'm like, well, I don't have a video on something really fundamental and something for beginners, but then and I just make it just because like I needed that. But then it was always funny how those beginner videos, something that maybe someone who knew nothing about what I did or knew nothing about a concept, always seemed to be the most popular ones. And I'm like, I'm glad, like, by looking at it, that data, I'm surprised by it. So that's why your strategy makes a lot of sense, where you might have done the opposite, right? If you just double down on that content that excited you, you'd be putting ad money into things that people don't care about, and the things people do care about aren't getting the ad money. So I mean, I
Yeah.
like your strategy.
Yeah, that's so true what you're describing there. Yep, yep.
Well, and so I mean, when we're talking about you and your team, cranking out the YouTube videos, how often are we talking here?
Well, when we've been at our best, we have been doing about 1 to 2 videos per week. And there's definitely a lot of chatter about kind of what kind of pace of video output you need to kind of get rewards from the algorithms and to kind of keep your fans engaged. We think that's probably the minimum. And it's hard. We actually in recent months we've fallen way behind that pace, and so there's been this awareness again that we're failing to take full advantage of the opportunity we have, especially once you've kind of built an audience. So I don't know, what would your advice be in terms of the pacing and the consequences of different pacings with audience and with algorithms?
Well, I'm not sure that I'm the great person to ask, because I always forget to update my YouTube channel, to be honest. Like, I'm good about being consistent with emailing every day, but as far as the social media, that sometimes falls behind, and I'll sometimes get kind of back in the groove, and I'll make a video like every couple of days. But for me, it's definitely there's like the time when I'm in the groove and I'm cranking stuff out for a couple of weeks, but then I'll fall off for a couple of months. So but I guess like sort of, since you flip things around on me a little bit here, I guess what's helped me is to sometimes put things on the calendar and like block out time to do it and have that swipe file in there. But I mean, your guess is as good as mine as far as how to remain consistent, how to stay on top of those things.
Yeah, yeah. It's hard from just a process point of view. In terms of the algorithm side, I mean, we definitely see a kind of a snowball effect, and what we see happening is, as we've built up a catalog of YouTube videos, we think some things are going on with Google's algorithms with YouTube search and stuff, where if we're posting regularly, we seem to have more activity in our whole catalog of videos, like people commenting and liking, even going back in time. If we let our new videos trail off, the overall activity level with our whole catalog drops off. That may have to do with, we try to, at the end of each video, kind of point at a few other of our videos. And also, Google's doing that within the YouTube interface. They're showing other similar videos, which are often yours. But whatever it is, cumulatively, kind of from an algorithm perspective, definitely feels like a bit of a snowball effect where, if you can keep adding to that snowball, it's just going to keep rolling faster.
Yeah, that's a good insight. That makes perfect sense. And especially, I mean, you could consider like, as far as the algorithm that can get changed every, every week or every month. Who knows about what their exact algorithm is? But if you figure that things are more crowded than ever, things are going to continue to be more crowded than ever, then it's in all our best interest, no matter what algorithm changes, to keep pumping out some good stuff so that way we can rise above the noise. And I'm really curious about, so if you guys put out all this content, how do you keep yourselves from putting out some really bad stuff? Because I'm sure that it would be tempting to kind of like half-ass every video and just put out 2 or 3 videos a day, but they'd all be garbage. So how do you find that balance between being on top of things but also putting out some great stuff?
Yeah, it's interesting. We often actually have kind of almost conflict internally about, do we have a quality bar? What is our quality bar for videos? I've actually been a bit more of an advocate, and I've got a team working for me, but of just putting the videos out and actually allowing ourselves to have different bars. One of the strategies we use is we try to have different employees of the company are all empowered to do videos, and we don't put a lot of gatekeepers in front of them. If they have a topic that relates to our products that they want to do a video on, that's their ball to run with. And we don't put a lot of gatekeepers in the way that have to approve or disapprove things. We pretty much just say, hey, go ahead and put that out. So we'll have some of our customer service team that will put out videos that are really focused around showing a problem that is a common problem that they are seeing among our customer base and how to solve it. Then we'll have some other people put out videos that are kind of very marketing-y, and then I try to do very kind of mostly very educational videos. Often when because again it's USB devices, so the one of the most effective types of videos we do is one of the big guys will come out with some new laptop, like Apple, will come out with a new MacBook. And so, we'll show all of our latest stuff with all of Apple's latest stuff. So we've got a lot of different kind of videos done by different people, done to different quality levels. And I think it's worked for us. I mean, there's an argument that we're not maintaining a very controlled brand image by letting that diversity occur. I think that it's worked for us, and I think for what ends up happening in the end is our fans will see these videos coming, and some of our fans will go, oh, okay, well, that's one of those support videos. I'll pass on that. It's not what I'm looking for. Oh, that's one of those videos kind of showing how to make the most of the new MacBook. I'll watch that. That they get familiar with some of the different styles that we have, and they just kind of pick and choose, what resonates with them.
Yeah, that's really great. So 3 different types of videos: the troubleshooting, common problem sort of stuff, the more marketing stuff, and then the educational videos where maybe you show how to use it with certain things. And that's really sounds like a really great keyword strategy there, because when the iPhone 10 comes out, or the MacBook Air Pro or whatever, then you can, when you make a video specific for that thing, then now you're capturing the traffic of someone who's looking for a great USB hub to go with a MacBook Air. So I mean, that's really kind of it solves two problems at once, right? It solves the
Yep.
problem of getting people to you and the problem of what sort of content to pump out there. And it's great that that you kind of just let your employees do their thing, so that way they're like motivated to put out stuff on their own. So that's pluggable. And then I really want to make sure that we have time in these last few minutes to talk about efficient error. And first of all, so did Efficient Era, which is the company that helps others get on Amazon, did this come about because of what you learned with Pluggable, or was it in parallel, or how did that get developed?
Yeah, it totally came out of Pluggable. So when Pluggable started as an electronics company in 2009, we made a bet on Amazon because we wanted to focus just on products and education about the products and support of the products, and we didn't want to have to do marketing, sales, logistics. And so we kind of bet on Amazon. And at the time, it wasn't clear who was going to win, Amazon or eBay. Well, it turned out to be a really good bet because Amazon has eaten everybody's lunch in the years since 2009. And part of what we did in betting on Amazon is we developed a lot of software to help us sell on Amazon. A lot of it has to do with that focus on the customer and customer feedback. So we're grabbing data from all of Amazon's systems, the APIs and the website, to make sure that we, as a seller of products, knows everything that's happening with our products. For example, when somebody submits a positive or negative review on our products, we want to know about that right away, so that we can act on it. Either try to help the customer if it's something negative, or if it's something positive, potentially, that is something we want to tweet about or publicize. And so we initially did this all as internal software for ourselves, and then it got to be that Amazon was so big and important and complicated that doing that software for just one company wasn't going to be cost effective in the long term. We really needed to offer that to other sellers so that we can all, kind of afford, to together amortize the cost of having a really great system to help sell on Amazon. And that's Efficient Era, which is this software as a service. If you're an Amazon seller, you can just sign up. We offer a really long trial, a month or more. To have all of these different features where we basically take everything that Amazon offers you as a seller, and we go beyond that in kind of each area, whether it's reviews or email communication with customers, or looking at your listings, or doing ads, or handling some of the nitty-gritty customer service things like doing invoicing in Europe and other kind of very detailed things. So we try to help with all of that, and yeah, all of it came from problems that we originally solved for ourselves.
And that's fantastic in a number of ways. First, that you and your software tool, it seems like it does almost everything. And I mean, I think that a lot of, like, I've heard of, and a lot of people listening have heard of some of these tools that maybe do one thing, like just focus on the feedback stuff, or they just focus on the listing stuff. But this is great because it handles everything. And then also just that aspect of you and your company develop something in-house to scratch your own itch, and you're like, well, we put all this money and time and energy into making this solution. It's already created. So now it's like, we spent the time to make it. Why not market it some more? And you're making me think about, like Yahoo. They had to solve these problems of how to store tons and tons of data for their search engine, and then after they developed all that, then they kind of released that, and they didn't sell it, but they released it as a thing that they spent all this time making, so other people can use it. And same with Facebook, they had to figure out how to create basically the biggest database ever made in the world. So because they did all this, they had to solve their own problem. They developed this product, the software tools. It's like, well, now that we already made it, it would be sort of a real missed opportunity if we didn't market it. So that's one of those things where it's a really simple lesson that maybe we heard a long time ago, but easy to forget, because maybe sometimes it's like, well, sometimes you fall in love with some sort of idea that sounds good to you, but if it's a problem that you solved where you looked around and you couldn't find any other solutions, you created the solution for yourself. Well, that now it's like you tested it, you got the bugs out, it has all the right features for someone who need this. You were basically your first customer. So I mean, that's a really great story there, and a really great lesson, I think, in anyone's business, right? If there's a problem that you're looking to solve in your own company and nothing out there exists, and you create the solution, then maybe people should be looking into selling that solution they themselves created.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and we've been really happy with Efficient Era. It started out as just us, and we're at over 200 other Amazon sellers who are now using the software. And like you say, it's a extra work, it's complexity. But well, we live in Amazon's ecosystem. What does Amazon do all day long? Well, they solve problems, often first for themselves, and then they break them down into services that they offer to other people. So in some ways, we're actually mirroring the Jeff Bezos model of going out and just finding unsolved problems, often the ones that are in your own way, and turning each one into its own micro business. Now, not everybody can do that, and you can't do it. You've got to wait for the right opportunity. But now we've got two different revenue sources that are diversified, and it can help make the overall company more stable.
Yeah, and it evolved over time, and yeah, and that stability thing is so important, right? Because if one side of it sort of falls to the wayside a little bit, the other part of it can pick up the slack. And I mean, yeah, you're so right. Amazon S3 and all those sorts of things were developed because Amazon needed to store all kinds of data, and they solved that problem. And why not have everyone else use it? And like Amazon provides those services for email deliverability and for creating servers and virtual machines and things like that. And yeah, all developed because they needed it first, and then it's created, and now marketed to the masses. So I mean, you're making a lot of sense here, and you're giving me a lot of great ideas and insights and stuff. And I want to make sure that after everyone has listened to our conversation today, that they know all about Pluggable, and they go there and they buy a bunch of cool gadgets from you guys, and they know about Efficient Era if they have an Amazon business. So can you drop some links for us for anything that you think people need to know about after listening to our conversation today?
Yeah, yeah. Just head to pluggable.com. It's spelled with one G, and that's all of our USB and Bluetooth devices. And then head to efficientera.com, which we sometimes joke is a secret club for success for Amazon sellers. You have to be able to spell the word efficient, but it's efficientera.com, and you can sign up there for a really easy free trial, so you can prove to yourself whether or not the tools will help you or not.
Fantastic. So yeah, so that way you can say, well, if I don't use it, no harm done, because now I can just sort of not go through with the payment after the free trial. But you jump on that free trial, you get a lot of use for it, and you can say, okay, now I can justify the cost of that. I used this a couple of times, and it made me a lot more sales in my Amazon business. It got me further than I was before, so it's a no-brainer to continue on and move on to the monthly fee, just to keep that going, to unlock all the features and use it again and again. So those are two great places that everyone should go right now. Number one, Pluggable with one G, so that's Plugable, to check out some fancy schmancy USB and Bluetooth devices there. And I mean, we always need some sort of USB hub to control all the wires, or something else to make things cooler for us. So check out those USB and Bluetooth devices at pluggable.com. And if you're in the Amazon business, if you have products that you're selling, if you're even thinking about creating an Amazon store or becoming an Amazon seller, then you owe it to yourself to go to efficientera.com. That's EFFICIENTERA.com. So I hope that qualifies me in the secret club. I can spell it.
You're in,
Awesome.
Rob.
It didn't even take that much work either. Efficientera.com, and we'll see you there. Pluggable.com and efficientera.com. And thanks so much, Bernie, for stopping by and being super honest with us, and for sharing some of these great stories about how YouTube marketing has worked for you, how you and your company have evolved. I think that it's really inspiring and gives us lots of lessons and reminders to get us to where we need to and want to go. So I really appreciate that. I appreciate you.
Awesome to talk with you today, Robert. Thank you.
Do you want a podcast like this one? Well, what's been holding you back? What if it was easy and you had someone to help you get it going? Check out doneforyoupodcasting.com, where we'll handle some or all of your podcast setup, production, marketing, and more. See you soon at doneforyoupodcasting.com.